So what do you have in mind, Hal?
I think I'm gonna start by shooting your partner.
Yeah, good. All right.
Tag is a lot of pew pew and pew pew and spin and pew pew pew.
And there's a lot of death, and every once in a while there's some nudity just to keep me happy.
Tag is this confrontation, I call it, between two people, Hal Curtis and Carl Reno.
Taking a child's game and making it a serious game instead of something that, but still adding humor to it, but also an enormous body count.
More often than not, I don't realize how fun it is until after it's over.
I don't really know what the hell's going on half the time, but
Tag is a film that was originally shot in 1998 with a few of the same cast members. But we shot on a whole high-8 video camera, but it was our first real stepping stone to real motion picture production. It had a fluid storyline, the editing was really starting to come together, but it still had a lot of problems. But it was very near and dear to myself and to Ty, the actor who plays Hal. And it also starred a good friend of mine, Tom Weinbrecht, who passed away in 2000. So it's a movie that was very close to the people involved with Ponderous, because it was an obvious stepping stone in our talent and our skills as filmmakers. But it wasn't something that we could sell. Both versions of Tag, the '98 version and the 2006 version, were very big growing experiences for me. I learned a lot on both films, and I'm able to make strides forward in each of the films. And I think all of those who were involved in both of those movies made terrific strides as well. Everybody involved with both projects learned a lot and were able to move forward.
Oh, we gotta go through the cops. Yeah.
We all had a big meeting there, and he introduced himself, and I said, wow, this guy's pretty cool, man. You know, I would like to work with him. I was anxious to work with him because of what he was saying and the way he was talking to the cast. It was like something I didn't expect. I thought he was gonna come in, you know, I'm William Brett Mauser, and this is what you're gonna do, you know. And that's not how it was. You know, he gives you range. He tells you who the character is, and he lets you run with it. You know, and that's what I like about working with Brett. You know, you get your script, he tells you who the character is, and he lets you run with it. But if you go too far, he'll pull you back.
I'm very influenced by a lot of the 40s film noir, a lot of Humphrey Bogart films, and a lot of science fiction. So I'm always wanting to try different things. I mean, if a camera doesn't look good here, you can just cut that angle. So why not try something different? There wasn't a whole lot of time to do too much of that in Tag. But I love angles, I love depth, and I like to look at each frame. The framing is a canvas, and I want to fill the canvas, and I want to tell the story through the filmmaking, you know, the cinematography, the lighting, and I want those to be aspects of the story. I want you to be able to look at one of my films and go, that's a Brett Mauser film, just by you know, whether it be particular angles that are used or an editing style.
I've seen people direct, I've seen a different guy direct, I've seen a different guy do this, do that, do this, the script, but he does it all, and you know, that's amazing to me. That's why I enjoy working with him, you know.
it was a film he didn't quite want to do, but I thought it was quite funny. It's called Serial Rabbit. And I kind of forced him into it, and he said, okay, if we're gonna do this fucking movie, I'm giving you 5 days to shoot it in, and almost zero budget. You've got 2 days to prepare, and by the way, I need a black midget, and I need him in 2 days. And that's pretty much Brett to a T. Those kind of requests that you have to fulfill as my job. So you know my life now, huh?
I was so glad, finally, people that are talented, people that know their lines, that actually studied their lines before they came on the set, you know. And then when they got on the set, they knew their blocking. They knew where to go. They take direction well, you know. Amanda Nutting, wow. Wow, when I saw the final project, I called Brett. I said, Brett, she is the best actor in this whole damn movie. She is awesome, you know, and she's only 20 years old. And working with Bradley is keep laughing. And DeMarcus Young. DeMarcus Young is such a talented guy. You know, I first met DeMarcus Young on the movie The Watchmen. He thought I was better than him or something, you know. But he didn't realize he had more talent in his little pinky than I have in my whole body, because this guy can draw, he can act, you know, and he's very, very, very talented. And playing the role of Ruby, I've seen Ruby in The Watchmen, and I've seen the other films that Ruby is in, and DeMarcus is such an awesome actor. You know, he's great and calm.
So this guy was beating the shit out of this woman with a roll of frozen cookie dough. He's just beating her and yelling at her. All of a sudden, he just shits himself. I think it was because all the stress he was under. What ISP do you use?
I think Brett wrote this script off of Ty A. Fish, you know, because he got that character down, you know. And working with him was an honor. I mean, he was very professional. He and I, you know, when we rehearsed, he was very professional, you know. And he knew his lines, and I tell you, he scares me sometimes. You know, he goes off into, you know, staring into space or some shit. As a matter of fact, he talks about space sometimes. You know, he fucking scares me.
This how your body's gonna be, because you got hit by a bullet. Bang, bang, bang. Then you go down.
It's really gonna be like that.
This is how dedicated this guy is, man. Although he's about to get on a plane in an hour, he's still in costume with this trench coat and his white shirt and his tie with fish on it and shit. He's still acting. He's running through the woods and he's shooting, and you know, and he knows he has to get on a plane in an hour, you know. And that's what I like working with Ty, you know. No matter what it took to complete a scene, he would do it, no matter what it is. To make it look good on film, he was doing it.
The Ponderous Universe is this place between Brett's left ear and his right ear, and the blank stare in front of it. It's an entire world created in his head.
Ponderous Universe is an elaborate network of characters, places, and events. All of our films that have the Ponderous logo in front of it take place in the same quote-unquote universe. The characters of Ruby and Will in this film are the same characters from the film A Dog's Life.
But he's made comments on many occasions where he says it's like this living entity, and you know, I create myself, you know, and I do comics and everything, and I know exactly what he means. It's like it starts off as a creation, it starts off as a few stories, it starts off as a handful of characters, and all of a sudden they take a life of their own. They start writing themselves. I mean, you know, I don't want to take anything away from him. You know, Brett's creative as hell, but the characters start to metamorphosize. You know, they turn into a whole new different thing, this huge thing. But I think it gets down to the essence of filmmaking. You know, you want to tell a story. You want to tell your story, and you know, the funny thing is when you don't have the money to pull it off, you've got your determination, your love of the art form, and you know, you're wanting to be true to the story.
I went in as if it was like $1 million movie, because when I read the script, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I mean, I drove, what, 1,400 miles to be in that movie.
It was a tough shoot. A lot of things went wrong. There was a lot of frustration, but we all worked through it, and we all came together, and we made a good film.
I think they're gonna like it, because it's bringing back the action that we used to see.